Sunday at Comic-Con with racialissues.com. Tell us your name and tell us your project.
My name is Grandmaster Eric Lineman O'Neal Sr. and I am a 7-time USK World Karate Champion, 2-time gold medalist. I'm in the Hall of Fame with Bruce Lee and Chuck Norris, and also won the International Championship, which is the same title Jim Kelly has won. The project that I have here is called The Legend of Lineman and the 7 Corridors. This is a multicultural superhero that focuses on education. Our motto is educating the world one child at a time.
Tell me first, where did the idea come from for the story?
Well, the idea came from my career in martial arts. I've been studying martial arts for close to 40 years. I am a grandmaster in martial arts. I start off as a kid, and I saw Grandmaster Jim Kelly as a young kid, and he was in the movie Into the Dragon, and he turned and he made a statement to someone, "Man, you come right out of a comic book." And as a young kid, comic books was one of the ways in which I learned how to read, and so from there it always stuck in my mind. But for many years, I always wanted to do comic books, but I didn't ever have time. I went to college. I'm an accountant, a computer programmer, marketing executive, real estate license, insurance license, and so I worked for corporate America for several years, and decided to go back into the martial arts. And after achieving my goals at reaching Chuck Norris titles, reaching Grandmaster Jim Kelly's titles, and also getting inducted in the Hall of Fame with Bruce Lee, I wanted to do something else, and I wanted to reach some other goals, and so I began to start working on my comic book by talking to kids and sleepovers at my karate school. And when I began to start telling people different stories, the parents wouldn't leave. They were supposed to leave and go somewhere, but they wouldn't leave. And it'd be 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, and I'm trying to run them out. They're like, "Man, your stories are great. Why don't you take them and put them down on paper so that more people can see them?" And so as a result of that, I started writing my comic books and my graphic novels, and right now I have 28 graphic novels. I just came out with the first one. The second one will be out this year around Christmas. Next year I have 3 more, and so from that point on I'll be putting more and more comic books and graphic novels out.
Tell me about Lion Man. Who is he?
Lion Man is a superhero that is a master of education. What he focuses on is the same things that other superheroes do in terms of with the powers and strength and etc. But he always finds a way to utilize his 7 corridors in terms of solving a problem. Each one of the 7 corridors are masters in a specific subject, like mathematics and science and economics and theologian and creative arts and engineering. So all of these characters have a solution by which they end a problem without using a whole lot of combat, things of that nature. They pretty much use their brains.
What is a corridor?
A corridor is part of a style in which I learned when I was a young kid. It's something I just made up, really, because my style is called Korobushika Karate Do Kempo. So I just used the first 2 words of the karate style in which I learned, and I used it as a form of creating something. Corridor is like black belt way, which means they're all black belts in karate, and do means the way. So we're showing the world the black belt way in terms of integrity, discipline, paying attention, following directions, and doing the code of honor. So that's the corridor way. So Lineman and the 7 corridors are basically teaching society about education and discipline and integrity.
Now, you said you read the comic books growing up. Who were your heroes growing up?
My heroes growing up, they pretty much vary. Because in the comic book world there wasn't a lot of African American superheroes, and that's what I was looking for. But basically, Batman, Superman, and Spider-Man was 1, 2, and 3 pretty much. And then when we got into Green Lantern, we got into Black Panther and things of that nature. And when you could find some of the generic comic books that reflect me a little bit, I would try to look for them, and that's part of the reason why I created Lineman, because I was never happy with how they displayed an African American superhero, and right now in terms of how they display him as well, in terms of not letting them have the role in which I think they should have in this day and age. So I didn't like it, so what I did was I created my own.
Now, looking at, all weekend we've been seeing around the floor, people coming up, not just your booth, but all over the place. There are black fans, Asian fans, Mexican fans all over the place.
Right.
there still seems to be that perception that comics are not our thing, quote unquote. You know, but you yourself grew up a reader.
Well, you know, I mean, hey, America is multicultural, you know, and as you see when you come into my booth, you have African American, you have European, you have Indian, you have you have German, you have Spanish, you have Mexicans, you have Jamaicans, you have Chinese, you have Asian. In other words, our superhero doesn't feel that way. So I can't control what other people feel, but I think we're living in 2020 and America is multicultural. Our comic book is set up as a multicultural educational superhero that reflects everybody's culture, everybody's history. When you read my book, you get a really sense of understanding more about other people's culture. I've touched over 30,000 kids in the city of New Orleans. 70% of them make straight A's. And the reason why I adopted what I'm doing, because I see the engagement that it causes. When you grab some child and you try to educate them and you try to give them the information, a lot of them are not really feeling the spirit of the education in which they're receiving because they're not engaged. In other words, they just do work to get a grade. That's not what we want our kids to do. We want them to do work because they want to do it and they want to learn from it. And so that's what Lineman brings to the table. Lineman brings a sense of learning and engaging in a very unique and different way.
All right. Tell us where to find you online, sir.
I'm at thelegendoflineman.com. Our number is 504-258-7773. And thank you very much for tuning in.